What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. I need to be chomping some of this stuff out today. Today is Friday. So I've got today and I've got a little bit of tomorrow, but then we're out in the afternoon because we're going to see Avatar. So that'll be dead good, but it does mean I'm not going to be in here full day tomorrow. So I need to be cracking on and getting stuff done today. So I was gonna, yeah, I've got my card. I could start plating the under tray, but I don't like having half jobs left, right and Chelsea. So we're finishing off on these headlamp mounts. I've already done my templates, they're fine. I've been thinking about it. I'm just gonna go with that size. I'm not gonna make them any smaller because there's no point. So basically we'll have one of these off, chomp out two of them, and then we've got to stick it where it needs to be and get welding and all that sort of stuff. If I just show you the front, I'm sure someone's going to pick up on it. Right, so some bright spark, I'm sure, is going to go, well, isn't the distance from there to there going to stop the top yoke going all the way down and clamping the steering stem properly? Very good point. I did mean to mention it in the last one, but I totally forgot. So these at the minute, they all still rotate. So this isn't being clamped at all. The stem nut is tight, but it's not torqued up. It's just, you know, it's not far off. There is no wiggle up and down really to speak of. There's a tiny, tiny bit on that one, but bugger all. Undecided about what to do as to making sure that once the headlamp is in, that there's no play to it. I don't want to be going down the road and the whole thing is like jinking about left, right and Chelsea. So on the top here, there's a couple of unused bolt holes, which have got a thread in them. So I could just have a tab that comes off the bottom of the tube once we've got everything else set up and the headlamp where it needs to be and pointed forwards and blah, 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 blah. I could just have a little tab that comes off the bottom and secures into the bottom yoke. That way it will definitely stop it twisting, which will stop any movement that way. And we's all good. The other option I've got is to shove an O-ring up the top. So essentially on the top dowel ring spacer, what I could do is take off the inside edge of it and put an O-ring essentially around the fork leg, because you know that marries up dead snug with this, and then we can use that to squash it down and that would stop it rotating. Whichever way I go, I don't know. If I don't use these holes, then they're just going to get tigged over and all dressed in, but it is an option. But for now, I just need to get busy and start chomping out stuff. Right, and let's have one of those templates off. You are going to see fixings on this. I'll try and hide them wherever I can, but you are going to see, you know, these bolts on the headlamps. We'll probably get, you know, be nice stainless ones, not these horrible zinc ones. And I'm probably going to round them over just because, you know, why wouldn't you? But you are going to see these fixings. So the idea is try and make it all as nice as possible so it doesn't draw your eye. Right, where's my Sharpie? I need two of these. Right, so they're done. Awesome. Easiest way to get them the same is just, I drilled the mounting holes in both of them once I chopped out the rough shape and got it close to me line. Bolt the two together, stick them in a vise and just, you know, stroke it with a file a few times. Just take out any wibbly wobbly. Gone over the edges so there's no burrs or anything, and just brushed them up on a Scotch-Brite wheel. So they all look quite nice. So now we just got to decide where we want it. So Sharpie, let's take that off. Right, and so down a bit. This is where an extra set of hands would come in dead good. It's going to want to be about there, I think. I've got my little finger in behind it just so this, you know, the headlamp is off the bottom yoke. It's just the easiest spacer I've got. But I reckon something like that. Still got a clearance to the steering stem. Still got loads of room for cables and stuff to wobble about and do all that malarkey. I reckon he wants to go about there. I reckon. Something like that. Alright, let's just stick a mark there at the bottom. And one at the top, just on one tube, then I can measure that and we can get it sorted. So now we need to know his positioning that way and that way, which is the fun bit. Right, so this is the easiest way I can figure it out. Hopefully you'll get the gist. So I've measured, these are the fork tubes coming down from the top. That one does have a top on it. And then you've got the Delrin spacer at the top on both of them as well, like that. Okay, so from the top of the tube, we've got 20mm space, and then the bracket comes in like that. He's 50mm in length on that side, so he's going to be going on there. We just need to decide kind of where on the forks it's going to be to marry up with the headlamp. I measured the headlamp and it's 200mm side to side to the mounting holes. And as far as I can tell, I can't, there is a little bit of guessing going on because these bits on my verniers aren't long enough to go all the way down into the fork tubes when they're on the bike. This bit catches. But as far as I can tell, the gap is 157. So, if we got 200mm either side of a headlamp, there's 21.5mm that's sort of overlapping the forks, if that makes sense. So E is going to have to go 21.5mm from this inside edge. So my idea is, say that's a fork tube, I'm going to get something 21.5mm. I'll mark off this sort of 20mm from there, okay. Stick him like that, stick him like this, stick him on there, and obviously clamp it down, and as long as that marries up, then this will be sort of perpendicular to the plane that the forks are in. It'll all be nice and straight, and the top edge will be where we need it to be. That's the plan. If I can do that and just get a tack top and bottom, we can offer it back up to the bike. Just make sure everything is okay. It's that dimension there that I can't tell very easily, which is a massive pain, but that's what I'm thinking of doing, like that. Hey? Right, well, this doesn't fill you with confidence. Let me show you. So if it's all closed, I'll try and do the zoomy thing and keep it where it is. We'll zero that and then open it up to what, 22 mil? It is now reading 99.09. Awesome. Go back to 0. It's now 76. Oh, that's 208. I think the batteries are knackered. Right. I need to measure all that again once I put new batteries in, and we'll have another go. Right, as far as I can tell, those measurements is all right. Just holding a ruler up and having a look-see, we are close enough. So I do trust them. I think they're okay. So what we're going to do is have all this lot off. I'll set stuff up on the fab table, and we can have a go at getting it sorted. Which one are you? That one? Yes. It is really annoying though. If you can't trust your measuring stick, what can you trust? Right, I think we's in. It's all good. Right, so before I started doing all this, I did clamp the nut down, you know, the stem nut, just because I wanted to make sure that these tubes weren't going to be limiting how much the yokes clamped down. I don't want the yokes to be resting on Delrin and stainless. I want it all to be nipped up in the headstock, and that was fine. So I clamped all that lot down, and I could still just rotate the tubes. You know, there was friction there, but you could still rotate them. If it was properly clamped down, you wouldn't be able to do that. So that's all good and peachy. I've stuck it on. I did go a little bit doohickey with one of my tacks there. So I need to sort that out. But it's all held in place, everything lines up. It is lovely and flush down the sides here as well. You know, they're not, the gap wasn't off, so the brackets aren't sort of bending in or bowing out or anything. It's all nice and straight. So that really is 157mm between the two. Everything's all nipped up, and I've just been playing. So we have got, with it adjusted where I think it needs to be, which is, you know, I mean, it's not totally level or anything else, but I've tipped it down a bit more just to see, and I've now got about 6mm clearance between the bottom of the headlamp bowl and the top yoke. But the thing is, as you turn the headlamp, it goes in an arc, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So it's never going to get any closer. That's all fine. I can get you know, basically all my fingers, like up to my knuckle basically, between the headlamp bolt and the steering stem, so that's all good. And we've got loads of room for cabling up the top here. So if I put that roughly where I think it sort of needs to be, ish, it's not exact. But if I go all the way this way, it's just a nice smooth curve, you know, there is no, it's not getting pulled or anything else. And if I go full lock the other way, it's kind of cool because it rides up the back of the bowl of the headlamp, but it never actually goes past that first rise sort of thing. All the cabling for the speedo is just going to come straight out the back, so there is going to be nothing there to interfere with it. I need to hook up the clutch cable, I need to see how all that lot's going to route, but that's about as tucked in and as nice as I can get it. So sitting on top, it's not like the headlamp, you know, if you're sitting on the bike sort of looking down at your instruments and that, it's not like the headlamp is like way out there or anything else. It's all as tucked in as it can get. It looks mint from the front as well. I quite like it. But again, it's just simple. And this is only tacked on, but it ain't going anywhere. So what I need to do now is to have it all apart again, get it welded up and do it nicely, because these are going to be a complete counter dress out if I don't. You will still see those welds, but I'm going to do them as nice as I possibly can do, and I will be purging it obviously as well. I didn't bother just for tacking because there is no point, but when we go through and we weld it properly, then it all needs to be purged, and I'm probably going to weld it front and back, just, you know, because I'm happy with that though. Right then, let's have all this off again, get it welded and stick it on, hopefully for the last time. Well, it probably ain't going to be the last time, but you know what I mean. Right, it's all done. Here's a little bit later on. That's mostly because the battery on the phone died. I just got this little sign pop up, then it all went black. So you've been charging for a bit, but during that time, all the boys is cleaned up. They're all put to bed again and oiled and stuff. I do still need to sweep the floor because it sounds like you're walking on cornflakes. But other than that, we're in, and I'm quite liking this. I am liking this a lot. There's probably going to be a couple of little changes. I've routed stuff where I thought, okay, well, I could send it there. But the wiring for the switchgear on that side and the wiring for the switchgear on this side is probably going to go behind the tubes. Just because I can do, and there's like a little point up here, I can put a mount for it, just to catch the cables and stuff. So that one and that one is probably going to disappear. So the only other one we got coming over is going to be the clutch, which I do need to get sorted at some point. I need to stick him in and see how he's going, because he kind of sticks out that way, which I don't like, so I might be getting a different lever. I want it to come more like the throttle cables do, straight in, but that one doesn't. So anyway, but I'll look into that. That's all peachy. Everything lines up really nice. Everything is solid. The welds look really good as well. There is like where I tacked it and then I finished off my weld and whatnot, there is a little bit of a bobble down here which I need to sort out. But that'll all happen when it comes to final dress up, ready to part company with it. So that'll be all fine. And the bar ends, they're going to move back a little bit as well. Loads of people chipping in about bar end mirrors. I'm going to be running bar end indicators on it. And there was a couple of people going, well, you don't need either. Just turn around, stick your arm out. And I do get you, and it would make the bike look an awful lot nicer. However, whoever gets the bike is probably used to having them, so he's going to have them. The bar end mirrors, I've got some that I can muck about with. We ain't going to do this until later on, but they're probably going to be beneath the bar. I don't like the ones that come up on the outside of the bar, and I certainly don't want them sticking out even further because that is getting really silly, really, really wide. So we're going to be mocking up some bar end mirrors that come down underneath the bars, and I'll sit on it and I'll see how much room I've got and what I can see and, you know, all that sort of stuff. If it's blocked by your arm or your leg or something, I don't want to run them. We'll have to come up with some other way, but I really don't want a sticky up jobby like that. That would just look daft. Somebody did have a good idea for this, which I'll punt out there as well. If you've got an opinion on it, I could make up a mount that goes into here to hold your phone, and we can squirrel away a USB charging port down here. So rather than shoving it underneath the seat, which it would keep it out the weather and it would charge it up, and that'll all be peachy and blah 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 blah. Quite a lot of people obviously use their phone for GPS or for maps or whatever. So it might be a nice little idea. I don't know. I mean, I've never had a phone on a cradle, on a handlebar or anything else before. I think Andy has. I might punt him an email actually, or send him a message and see what he thought. But that could be a goer. I'll just make up like a little adapter thing for a cradle, and he can go in there, and if you're not using it, you can just blank it off with, I'll do like a nice looking bung or something that goes in there instead. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. So next job is going to be the seat. I need to get all this lot sort of plated in and covered up, just so I can see where I'm going to be sticking stuff, because I want to make the battery tray and a few other bits and pieces, and how we're going to have the M unit and the starter solenoid and bits and bobs and stuff like that. So I can't really do any of that until that's all plated in. So that's going to be the next job. Probably ain't going to happen tomorrow, because there's a few things I want to do on the van. So we've got the fuel filter to go in. I just want to bleed it all and make sure everything's good. Want to adjust the handbrake because that's coming up a little bit too far. It's just bits and pieces like that. But I haven't got the whole day in here tomorrow, so I might as well use a part day just to have a tidy up and get him sorted, and then we're back on it. So that's all going to happen during the week. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for this one. Thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope you're well and staying safe. We'll see you on the next one. Laters!